I am one of the double international. I played basketball, I played the Indian team for handball. The dunking is very spectacular. Even now cricket alli 6 ಹೊಡಿತೀವಲ್ಲ ಹೆಂಗೆ crowd fully goes crazy. Like that basketball alli you go over the ring and you slam the ball right into the basket, either in one hand, two hands, or a reverse dunk. That's called dunking. Even now, if you see in every sport, it is very, very spectacular when you do that. And it's also a little demoralizing for the opponent. So
that you made your mark.
I
It's
made
your
a mark.
territory.
Yes, and I started off the first person in India to have started dunking, and in a game. So I've done it a thing. Now a lot of people do it, and also it's more interesting when more and more at my height. Like for example, when you are about 6'3", 6'4", people start dunking. It's more spectacular than a 6'10" or a 7 doing it, because you need to jump so high, you need to be in air for for a more fraction of a second and then do it.
Oh my God! Idrali, you also have the body dynamics involved.
Yes.
You have to balance your body, physical energy, the mind dynamics, to hold on to that space for quite long.
You're right, and also basketball is a sport where you need to be a perfect athlete, because the basketball game is so fast. You need to have very good endurance to last the full game, because every time you keep moving up and down, and then you need to have good sprints, because you need to be a good sprinter. You need to be a good jumper, because every time you have to jump for the ball in the offensive court, you have to jump back at the defensive court. And then you have to be a very intelligent person. See, I always say a lot of basketball players, you have to be intelligent, because you should know in a fraction of a second where to pass. A person is cutting, you need to pass. Somebody is beating the opponent and he's coming in, you need to assist your teammate. It's all like within a fraction of a second. And all these fraction of a second happens yavaga now daily practice in, and thousands of times madana it becomes automatic. It's like a computer which is set in your mind. So basketball is a perfect athlete for anybody who plays basketball has to be a very good athlete.
Since you were also involved in many other games during your childhood, each game taught you something.
Yes.
To be a good sprinter, to calculate in fraction of seconds, to make the next move.
No, you're perfectly right, because I was a good volleyball player. I used to smash, so I used to block. So I learnt a lot of spot jump. In fact, if you NIS Patiala, when I was there, they have all our tests for all parameters for basketball. Scientific tests are there. Avaga sports science alla avaru heloru ee tara that your spot jump was taken in par with international recognized standards. So that was a good thing. I had a good sprints. I was selected for 1982 Asian Games. I am one of the double international. I played basketball, I played the Indian team for handball, and before I could go for the juniors, I was in the senior Indian handball camp for Asian Games, and I also played for the senior Indian handball team. So it's a very interesting journey, because our camps alli 4 Asian Games camp alli idde ನಾನು. So it was in each camp will consist of about 4 to 6 weeks. That's the national camp rule in those days throughout. So avaga camps alli it was really tough for me, to be very frank, but I never gave up. I said yakandre a youngster with the senior camp.
Seniors. And almost a decade.
With age difference, you're right. And they were all much matured players. And
they were experienced also.
Experienced
they
players.
Were very seasoned
They've
players.
already played Indian team. They're all in that. But they had put 3 or 4 of us. A couple of 2 from Maharashtra, 1 from Hyderabad, and 1 from Karnataka was me. So they had brought us as juniors into the senior handball camp as a potential to have it. So our camps alli we had to be with them, but I always thank my seniors, because they all encouraged me. The Mangalore correspondence course, the guides irodu adana carry ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ it will have question and answer. So ಈ senior players who are from Air Force, who are from other banks, other police, they would like, this fellow is interested. So they used to ask me in the evening, you're a small boy, so they used to still treat me as a child. Hey, have you finished studies now before coming for dinner? They would just ask me and say, okay, if you have anything, any doubts idre nan keli, it's okay. So this was also a motivation factor for me that I should keep in touch with education. At the same time, I had played 79 junior nationals for Karnataka. Since in that 4 years, 80 we were the winners, 81 we were the winners, and 82 when we played, they had, so immediately from the camp, from Hyderabad, I went directly to Pune Nationals for the junior nationals for Karnataka team. So I had not been in the camp. So they told me directly you can join the team there because I had already won 3 national championships and I was one of the top scorers. So I went directly to Pune. We lost in the semi-finals, but I was called for the 1982 basketball camp. So I didn't pursue handball further because basketball was my first love at that point of time. So I said basketball was my priority, so let me take up basketball. That's how my journey in basketball with the first Indian camp started from a junior, and they were all in the senior camp in the same campus. So I remember the coach, chief coach said when I walked into the junior camp, Mr. Sandhu was the coach of the thing, national coach of the handball team. He looked at me, he said, Rajan. Then he said, I'm very angry with you. And he said, you're not coming for the handball camp. But then back of it, he just tapped me and he smiled and told me in my ears, I still remember, it's a good decision you made. Because he knows basketball had more opportunity in the country than handball, but he just tapped and told me in the ears. And I always have regards for him for that, because he smiled at me and he told me that after that.
Probably he knew that you are like the master stroke to the game, because each time you have just channelized your best and you have stuck the maximum number of gold and winning trophies from there. There was no looking back at all. Okay.